Blog Talk Radio.
You know what time it is. Time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Coop, with Mr. Coop, with Mr. Coop. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Coop, from Mr. Coop, from Mr. Coop. Hang with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Coop, with Mr. Coop, with Mr. Coop. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Coop, from Mr. Coop. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Big Scoop with Coop. I'm your host, Coop. Season 5 still going strong, people. Make sure you go tell your family, your friends, your associates, your haters. Tell them all right now to tune in to blogtalkradio.com/the Big Scoop with Coop. Also, make sure you do go check out the website, www.thebigscoopwithcoop.com, where you can catch your episodes from Season 1 all the way up to Season 5. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MCOOP317, and we are live right now also on Facebook, facebook.com/the Big Scoop with Coop. Okay, guys, enough about me. Now, today's guest, this person has been doing big things. I mean, big things in the movie industry. He actually has so many things that's going on with him right now. Also, like a new movie that's coming out. It's called The Dust Storm. Ladies and gentlemen, movie director, successful movie director. Let's put it that way. The one, the only, Ryan Lacen. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you, Coop. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, of course. Anytime. How's your day so far?
Good. Busy. But you can't complain about that. You know,
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a dull moment, so love to stay, crazy busy.
Hey, there you go. I love it. Now, also, just to let you know, on this show right here, we do talk about how you started in your career, your success, give advice on how to get started in your career, and much more. So, Ryan, I know your fans are listening worldwide right now, and people that's new to you are listening also. So let's go on and get this party started. When did you first realize that you wanted to get into, like, the television and the movie industry?
Realistically, I really didn't have anything else. Basically, the only thing I knew was movies. Like, I grew up in a very kind of die-hard cinema-going family. It's like my mom, my grandmother, huge moviegoers. So, like, on the weekends when other kids, outside playing sports or whatever, I was in my sanctuary. I was in the cinema watching movies. So I grew up, just sitting there entranced by, like The Goonies, Godfather, like, all these great films. So at that early age, it was like, this is what I want to do. I want to grow up. I want to be able to tell these stories. I want to get into, like, what makes these characters tick and what they're all about, Man,
and I can tell from a young age it stuck into your heart and stuck into your mind, because look at you now, what you're doing. We're going to talk about that in a second also, exactly, big things is going on with you and everything. And I always believe at the same time, Ryan, that if you feel that you want to do something at a young age, it's going to stick in the back of your mind, and you're going to be ready to go and ready to keep doing it. Even if you start seeing other things that you want to do, at the end of the day, you will always come back to that one love, and you just proven that right here.
And exactly. And I think that's one of the biggest things, too, is just knowing it and accepting it. And even for myself, too, like, I knew, like, it was the movies, that's what I wanted to do. But there was even a point when I was in college, my first year, and you think, like, it would be awesome, basically, to follow my dreams, but that's tough. Maybe I should just get a business degree. Maybe I should just jump into a business because that seems like it's easier, which I don't even know why people think that way. But I definitely had a couple years, feeling that way. And all of a sudden one day I woke up, I was like, what am I doing? I'm terrible at, math, and I'm sitting here, like, in this, like, business class trying to figure out the fundamentals of that. I'm like, why don't I have a camera in my hands right now? And, I let that moment, like, kind of switch me, and I went back to kind of everything, like, I've always known and loved and haven't looked back since.
Wow. And you know what? And I'm not sure if you follow Steve Harvey or not, but he actually talked about that in this epic video that he's done. It's called Jump. He actually has a book that's out now that's called Steve Harvey Jump. And basically in the book, he is actually talking about if you go and if you wake up every morning and you're not feeling what you're doing every day, you feel like there's something better for you in life, that means there is something better for you at life. And you have to make that jump, and you have to risk, and you have to take that chance to actually get it out, to go out there to make that leap. Because if you don't, you will always be in the same place as where you're at. And you just proven that again right there. You just confirmed that. You made the leap, and look.
I mean, this is the only life we have to live. You don't want to make sure every moment counts. I don't want to wake up in the morning at 7 o'clock and hate the fact that I have to go to work, or hate the fact that I have to spend X amount of time doing a job I don't love. And in film and television, for me personally, you're spending 12 hours minimum on a film set each day. Sometimes up to 14, 16. It's you have to love that. You have to want that, and have to be motivated to do that every day. And for myself personally, I look forward to it. When I'm not on set, when I'm not making movies, that's the time when I feel, the most, I guess, unhappy and unpleasant. The fact that I should be out there doing it, which is, great, that constant strive to be able to keep working, keep creating, keep maintaining.
And since you brought that up, keep working, keep creating, keep maintaining. What type of obstacles did you go through, to become an award-winning director that you are today? Because I know when you started, it couldn't have been just an easy step. You said, okay, I will do this, and next thing you know, you're winning awards.
Right.
So it has been at least an obstacle or two that hit you.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest obstacle, Coop, is probably fear. That sense of it seems so impossible. Directing a film, even working in the film industry seems like winning the golden ticket, at least for me as a child. I would sit there in my bedroom growing up, I'm 10 years old, and I'm yeah, I want to make movies, I want to do this, but how the heck do I go about that? How do I actually get onto a film set? It's not you graduate from college, you do good, and all of a sudden welcome to the film industry, here you go. You have to be invited, you have to earn your way in, but there's no clear way of basically trying to get there. So I for me personally, it was just overcoming that sense of I don't know how the heck to do it, and just basically embracing the sense of it's going to happen. I have to figure it out. I'm going to get this golden ticket somehow. I'm not going to worry about exactly the specifics of how I'm going to make it happen, but I know I'm going to make it happen some way. So that was definitely the biggest obstacle, and I think once I got past that, once I got over the fear, then it became about the sense of, just getting out there and making stuff, creating content, making art, making films. Even if it's short films, my buddies growing up as a kid to high school and college, it was just doing the craft and learning the craft. And then it was surrounding myself around the right people too. Because that's a huge obstacle in that sense too. Because you look at it as a filmmaker of, I want to make a film. But that's not just you and a camera. You're not just going to point the camera yourself and, boom, you have a movie. It takes tons of people to basically get together to create something that's good. So you basically need to surround yourself by the right people.
Mm-hmm. And that's true.
I strive for.
And I see, and you have, and basically you know how to do it, and it's been proven already. I'm an actor. I've been in 2 movies, and I've seen how the director I was under, and a producer and everything, I mean, he had to make sure that his team was lined up correctly to actually get the success that he has today. And that has to go with you too. There's a lot that they wouldn't have said, okay, Ryan, we're going to hire you for this. And if you didn't have your stuff together, trust me, you wouldn't have been back on the scene anymore. And how much stuff that you've done in your career already, it's amazing. I got to give you a shout out off top, Ryan, for what you've done already. And the thing is, your career is nowhere close to being over. So I'm just amazed.
Started.
I'm amazed. Yes. Did you have any mentors that actually help you prepare to get to where you're at today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone that goes into the film industry, everyone takes a different path. Everyone kind of goes on their own journey to get where they end up at. Some people too, where the directors, they don't ever start out on a set. They just keep creating their own films, and eventually gets them their first directorial debut. For myself personally, I started off doing production work. I graduated from college. I was I just want to get onto film set like a big film set because I wanted to see basically how everything kind of comes together. So I started doing these production jobs out in New Mexico and my first year here in Los Angeles. And doing then, it was basically being able to, like, be this spectator to see, like, how these people that I have admired for years go about their craft. And stuff like, I could steal or basically take, to create what I wanted to do too. Like I worked under directors like Kevin Smith, a filmmaker who I remember being a kid and like watching Clerks and like my mind being blown that like movies like that like were even exist and being made at those times. And Chasing Amy, that I feel like is such a great relatable relationship film. And I worked underneath Kevin Smith for like a little bit, and I watched how he talked to his actors, how he responded to, his notes from his DP and all that stuff. And I basically, you'd be like, okay, that's a great way. Maybe I should, use a little piece of that. And then I worked under Steven Soderbergh too, and watching how quick he is and how prepared he is by the time he gets to the film set too, helped inspire me by the time, we went out to direct The Dust Storm. It was like, once we get the set, especially for, an independent film that doesn't have a ton of money, there's not room for error. You got to get in. You got to be prepared. And watching, Steven works was definitely a great example for me in that sense of, these guys that have made these films that, like, I admire, and they're my top 10 favorite movies of all time, and I'm being able to kind of, like, study and learn from them. So that was a gift and a blessing, amongst itself.
Wow. I mean, that is amazing. I mean, you watched them when you was younger, and you have the honor to actually go and work with them. I mean, that's like mentor on steroids right there. That's what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and you can't beat that. And I heard you mention it, so we were going to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's watching worldwide right now on Facebook, and it's listening worldwide right now on the multiple stations that you're listening to. Now, he has a movie that's out. What is coming out is called The Dust Storm. You just heard him mention about it. Ryan, let the whole world know about this movie. What is it about?
Right. The Dust Storm is basically it's a relationship film. At the heart of it, it's just, it's a brutally honest relationship movie about what it's like to basically run into the one who got away and then spend a weekend with them afterwards. And I think for most of us, we can all kind of relate to the sense of having these lingering regrets or having this, like, first-time love, and then it breaks up for, like, whatever reason. But you always have this, like, inkling in the back of your mind, like, what if? What if I would have saw them again? What if, I spent another day with them? Can you get past the stuff that, you guys broke up over? Can a relationship kind of be reborn and formed? And that's the crux of what The Dust Storm is. And it stars two amazing actors, Colin O'Donoghue, who most people know from playing Captain Hook on Once Upon a Time, and the lovely and wonderful Kristen Gutowski, who plays Celine on Vampire Diaries and was most recently just in the show Containment. And they play the couple that reunites in the city of Nashville. And it's, basically for, like, the directorial debut, me and my directing partner, Anthony Baldino, we just wanted to, like, go in. It's going to be basically our first film that showcases, like, who we are. And we wanted to make something that, like, we could relate to, something that, like, we felt honest. And that's why when I wrote this script, we knew this was going to be our first foray into, the film directing world.
Now, how long did it take you to actually write this script?
When I wrote the script, it's definitely, I've written a lot of scripts, in my career and stuff, and each one of them take, like, a different amount of time. But for The Dust Storm, it happened during a period of my life where, the subject matter was very, I guess, current for me. So when I started writing, when I put pen to paper, it came out very quickly. It flowed from the pen, so therefore, I think within 3-4 months, the script was basically to a solid point that, we could go out and start shopping in order to get it made. That process definitely took a little bit longer than the actual writing. But I'd say all in all, that's probably about like a year to, like, get it out there. We had this amazing casting director named Jessica Sherman who came aboard and helped us to find the ideal cast. And once we had them, then everything kind of came together. We got our budget, and we flew out to Tennessee and made the movie.
Nice. Congratulations. And I believe if you're in any type of emotion, I believe if you're in any type of emotion or state of mind, and if you're a writer, that's the best time to grab your pen, or this new age, grab your computer, your laptop, start typing, because you won't believe what will come out of your mind to the screen or onto the paper at the same time. So if you have a thought in your mind, or if you're feeling some type of way about something, do it, ladies and gentlemen. Grab it, type it, write it down, whatever you have to do, because it could be an interesting story one day. It definitely can. Now, later on this week, Ryan, I will actually have Anthony Baldino on my show. So can you tell us a little bit about him? What's the experience of working with Anthony?
So Anthony, basically, he was one of the very first people I met when I moved to Los Angeles like 9 years ago. And we met on the set of this Wayans Brothers film, and we just started talking, basically about kind of, what films he was into, what films I was into, what kind of stuff inspired us. And then, we just instantly kind of had this rapport in the, in the same sense of we like the same type of entertainment. And throughout the years, once we decided basically all right, now it's time for us to, get out there and make our own stuff, Anthony formed this company called Normal Productions, which basically does commercials and films and TV and, music videos. And through then, both of us just started producing a lot of content to just basically get our names, what we wanted to do, out into the world. And when it became time that, I had written Duststorm and I was ready to direct it, there was no better person for me to partner up with in the whole process. Because making a film it's almost like being in a band. It's you're relying on somebody, you're creating with them, you're bringing, challenges, and also you're also complimenting each other on the arts and the entertainment. And he's definitely a great counterpart to my senses too. He's also very calm, and I could definitely be a little bit more worked up and amped up, especially on set. He comes in with kind of this common force, so we definitely balance each other a lot.
Nice. And that's what I'm about to say. I believe you all are like counterparts. It's like the Transformers when they actually, I don't want to go deep in the 80s, but at one point in time, the Transformers could transform into other robots and stack on top of other robots. And I believe for the people that's 80s babies, you know what I'm talking about. But basically, I believe you two fused together are excellent because, like I said, look at this. This has happened for you, the Dust Storm. And I believe that there's going to be more to come. Now, are you willing to work with Anthony again in the future?
Yeah, we produced this film called She's Allergic to Cats. It's all at film festivals right now, and it's doing great. So we basically partner up on almost everything that we direct and produce. So it's been a great working relationship, and hopefully we get to do a lot more.
Nice. Big shout out to you, Anthony. If you're listening to the show today, I'll be talking to you later on this week. Big shout out to what you and Ryan are doing. You all are doing big things, and I can't wait to hear more from Ryan right now, and also you later on this week. Now, Ryan, for the people that's new to you, could you tell the people that's listening right now some of the things that you've actually worked on yourself in the television and movie industry? You play any part of?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going back to kind of what I was mentioning back in the production days with the Kevin Smith and Steven Soderbergh, I worked on Red State with Kevin Smith and Haywire with Steven Soderbergh, and then No Strings Attached with Ivan Reitman. So that's some of the earlier stuff I did in my early production career to basically just kind of get out there and to learn the craft and do the homework. And then since then, I've had the great fortune, I produced this film called Cost and Soul with a great filmmaker named Sean Kirkpatrick, who was a good friend of mine. Me and Anthony produced the She's Allergic to Cats film, directed by Mike Reich, that's, festival. And then we also produced this film called The Desk. And, then directing-wise, it's been a good run of, music videos. We've done some good commercials. We just partnered up with Guys Etiquette, which is this whole new amazing line of men's products that we're directing commercials for before we go out and make our next film, which hopefully should happen in, early next year.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen worldwide, make sure you do catch up with Ryan. We'll talk about it in a second, how we can try to catch up with Ryan after this show. But, he's doing things, guys. And anybody that's listening right now or watching me right now live, if you're trying to get into the movie industry and the television industry as a producer, director, get you a piece of paper, a pen, take notes of what Ryan is saying. Type it down. Use it. He's done it. It works. It's a solution that works. Listen to what he has to say. He's doing big things. I'm telling you. Now, Ryan, like I said before, you started early. You've done all these other projects. You got stuff coming out 2017. Are there any other projects that you're allowed to talk about right now that you're working on that you would like to share to the world?
At this point, the Dust Storm is definitely getting taken up the most of this year. So when it comes out December 13th, after that moment, we'll be able to kind of move on to the next project completely. But we've definitely had some great meetings for the next film. So we've gotten pretty close to deciding what's going to be and what the genre is. Because we've kind of, after this, we obviously made a relationship-based drama. So deciding what is going to be the best follow-up to, which we're almost, secure on, which hopefully we'll be able to announce early next year.
Nice. Now, how can your fans that's listening and the people that's worldwide that's listening also that's new to you, how can they find you on social media? Or are you on social media?
For social media, we're basically, for the Dust Storm, it's everywhere. If you Google Dust Storm Film, you'll come up with tons of email addresses for us. But I guess the best is, find us on Twitter, The Dust Storm Film. Our website, theduststormfilm.com. And you can definitely jump on there, and there's like a listing to email. And if you email that, they'll definitely make sure that, it gets to me. So those are probably the two easiest. And I think we're on Facebook, too, and if anyone ever sends a message there, it'll get forwarded over to me.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to the website, theduststormfilms.com. Make sure you follow them on Twitter. If you find them on Facebook, send them a message. Let them know that you're appreciating this work, and tell them you want more. Because I'm telling you, when you see the Dust Storm, you're going to want more. So make sure you do go check out everything. Follow Ryan. Follow the whole cast and crew. Make sure you find them all so you can see what's going on, especially in 2017. Big things are going on for Ryan. Make sure you follow him and make sure you keep up with everything that he's actually doing. Now, Ryan, what is your ultimate goal? Oh, yes. What is your ultimate goal as far as it goes as a director and a producer?
I think the ultimate goal as a director and as a producer and as a writer as well is to just create, to continue to keep creating interesting stories about unique characters. I feel like I have a lot of stories still left inside of me that are just itching to kind of get out. So, I want to follow Dust Storm with some more, stories that hopefully the audiences can enjoy and relate to. And, that would be the goal, is to kind of keep creating, films like some of my idols, Have a long-lasting career in this industry would definitely be a great, goal.
Well, Ryan, you're not going anywhere, trust me. Like I said, your career is nowhere close to being to the end. So I believe you're going to actually live up to your ultimate goal. So I'm not worried about that part at all. Definitely not. Now, yes. Now, Ryan, for the people that's listening at home, what advice would you give any male or female that wants to become a director or a producer in the movie and television industry?
I guess the biggest form of advice that I can give is just get serious. If this is something you want to do it. Don't quit. Just go out and shoot, make it happen. If you're a director, you want to be a director, then, because especially in Los Angeles, too, or anywhere the film industry is prominent, you'll see so many people that are like, oh, I'm a director, I'm a writer, I'm an actor. And then you're like, okay, cool. What's some of the stuff you've directed? And they're like, oh, I haven't shot anything yet, but I want to. I haven't written anything yet, but I plan to. It's like, no, if you're a director, you have no excuse, especially with modern day technology. Go out, shoot a short film. If you're a writer, save up $100, buy a final draft, start your first script, make your first outline on paper if you can't afford that. There's no excuse not to be able to create content. And also in the same sense too, the whole get serious part. And that's something I wish someone would tell me even from day one too, because I know my first couple of years in college, it was you're experiencing college, you're experiencing life, and you're doing it on your own path. But there's so many moments then I wish I would hunker down a little bit more, worked a little bit harder, slept in a little bit less, and just made sure I was always working, always striving for that future. Because when you do get that one shot, that one, I guess, opportunity, it's like you want to make sure that you have everything lined up and ready. You get your first agent when they're like, okay, cool, what have you written? You want to be like, here's a stack of good scripts. As an actor, you get your first, acting agent or whatever, too. They're like, what have you done? Here's an awesome reel that I've shot. Even if it's not, like big-time television shows or movies, but here's the work. This is what I can do. And then same thing as a director. The worst thing you can do is get this shot and then blow it. So I think if anyone is like completely like this is what they have to do, they feel it in their body, then do it. Don't make excuses. Get out there and make it happen.
Hey, and, that's what I'm talking.
What else I would say too? It was something that like I've learned the hard way many times. Is when you're creating your art, when you're creating your piece, don't rush. If you're directing like a short, make sure every shot matters. Every shot counts. When you're writing, don't just, finish that first draft and get it out there. Take another pass. Go through it. Make sure it's good because, once you put stuff out, that art is a representation of you and you want it to be the best that it can be. And granted, there's obviously limitations and obstacles that are going to come in your way, but do the most that you can. Make it count.
Nice. Now, Ryan, do you have time for one more question?
Yeah, throw them at me, man. I'm loving it.
Okay. I want you to think hard on this one, what I'm about to give to you. This is a last-minute question, and I want to see what you're going to say. Now, I want you to think back to your childhood right now. I want you to think back to the television shows you watched and the movies you watched. I want you to pick one television show of your choice and one movie of your choice. If Hollywood or Atlanta or anybody came to you and said, I want you to pick one television show or one movie to remake, which movie and which television show would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. It's tough because, all those ones that you love are so good that, I'd be afraid to touch them to remake them. But I can definitely say, shows that I would love to make a movie like. And for me personally, there's the movies like Godfather and stuff like that are instant classics. But I will say, as a movie, and this is a little bit higher than my childhood. I think I was probably just started my teenage years. But when High Fidelity came out with John Cusack,
I remember that.
I remember watching there. I was in the front row, and it was so real, so brutal, so funny. But Coop, it was honest, man. It felt like this is a relationship. And it's even kind of what I try to do with The Dust Storm, is to try to make a film that, a young Ryan, a young person like that could go watch and completely relate to. And then throughout, I guess, my years after that, anytime I'd go through a terrible breakup, I would pop on High Fidelity. So I would love to make a movie like that, when a guy or a girl is going through a hard time, that's the movie that they're like, all right, I'm going to go home, I'm going to watch this movie, and for that 2 hours, everything's going to be okay. Or at least I'm going to feel that, I'm not the only person in the world going through something like this.
Right. That's true. All right, that's the movie, but what about the television show?
The television show, yeah, that's a tough one. I think from my childhood, a show that I really loved was Cheers. Ted Danson, Woody Harrelson. And Cheers was this awesome sense, too. It's something I feel like I'm always still searching for in my life. And that's this sense of community, this sense of a place where you go and your friends are there, and you can bring in whatever issues you have. And it's just kind of this jovial place, and I've looked for it in places I've lived. I've looked for it, in bars and coffee shops that I frequent. And that show, I remember turning it on, every week and just getting into, these character stories and what kind of shenanigans, what type of, obstacles they're into. And I would love to make a TV show, I guess, one day, too, that kind of, encompass, that type of sense, camaraderie between, people and also, issues. And I think, too, when it comes to, good characters, there's, obviously relationships is a huge aspect, and just us as humans and what motivates us and also what cheers us in life, too. So I think, a good show that embodies that is key.
Nice. Now, Ryan, I got one request. If you do in the future ever remake the show Cheers, you have to do the intro just like how they did it on Cheers. I'm talking 100%. About how you go classic,
got it,
present. Yes. Well, Ryan, thank you very much for coming on the show. Everyone, we really appreciated it. I would love to have you back on in the future.
Absolutely. You let me know when. I'll be here.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we had Ryan Lacen on the show. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter. Find his website. Make sure you watch The Dust Storm. Let me know how you think of it. All right, everybody. Until the next time on the Big Scoop with Coop.
You know what time it is. Time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Coop I. With Mr. Coop I. With Mr. Coop I. Ladies Scoop. From Mr. Coop I. From Mr. Coop I. From Mr. Coop I. Mr. Coop. With Mr. Coop I. With Mr. Coop I.